Willie James Moore. And, what else?
Where you born?
I was born in Duplin County, raised up in Sampson.
What year were you born?
23.
Okay.
1923.
Okay. And you went to school in the Sampson County schools?
Yeah.
What were you doing before the service? Before you went into the military?
I was working at shipyard in Wilmington.
And you were doing what?
I was learning to weld.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well,
You didn't stay there too long, did you?
no, I didn't.
And so when you left the shipyard there, you decided to what?
Joined the Navy.
Go in the Navy.
Yep.
Okay.
I wasn't but 17 years old,
Uh-huh.
I think. And so I went ahead and joined the Navy. But I wasn't old enough to sign up myself. So the Red Cross came on and my mother and daddy didn't agree with me to sign up. So anyway, I went on in the Navy.
Where did you go in the Navy? What place did you enter the Navy?
Norfolk.
Norfolk. Where did you take your basic training?
In Norfolk.
In Norfolk. Tell me a little bit about your basic training. What you were involved in.
They were bringing us home on a bus, and you know, and they had blackouts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, coming home on the bus, and anyway, that's about all I can say.
Okay. So where all did you serve on the stateside before you went to the Far East? You were in Norfolk?
Yeah.
Did you take any training in other places, in advanced training, that kind of thing?
No.
So how soon were you placed on a ship?
Well, the first ship I was on was the old Nitro. Oh, we went down to Korea, or can't think of the name of the place, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we took down the ammunition and brought back sugar to Baltimore.
Okay. And that was the first ship you were on, but
That's
then
right.
you came back and went on to the Baltimore after that.
Yeah, yeah.
When you set sail on the Baltimore, did you ever go to Europe, or did you always go to the Far East?
Always went to, you know,
Pacific.
Pacific.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you recall when you first left to go to the Pacific on the Baltimore? what year it was?
I don't remember.
What year did you actually go in the Navy?
I can't remember.
About probably 42 or 43.
Something like 40.
So 42 maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
Let me ask a question, George. When you were in the South Pacific, did you ever go to Pearl Harbor with your boat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what was Pearl Harbor looking like after they had bombed everything? What do you remember about Pearl Harbor?
Well, we was there when the war ended on the ship. And the next day, we were riding the tops of cars, passing down drinks, so on and so forth, celebrating.
Celebrating the war's over with, and you was in Pearl Harbor when the war ended.
Right.
Well, that's amazing.
That is.
That is amazing.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
In your time on the Baltimore, tell me the things that stand out the most in your mind. You spoke of an incident that was a close call.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit more about that. Remember that you talked about a torpedo?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened?
Well, anyway, we dodged it.
And what happened with the torpedo?
It hit this small carrier.
Uh-huh. Okay. Did you see, while you were there, any of the Japanese kamikaze pilots?
Yeah, they wouldn't be rescued. That was the end.
Yeah. Did any of them come in the vicinity of your ship, the Baltimore?
Well, pretty close. We tried to rescue them. You know how to do. They were supposed to die.
Right. So they didn't want to die for the emperor, and they just didn't want to be salvaged or saved.
Right.
And but you saw them, of course, go down in the water then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did the men around you react? What were some of the responses from some of your sailor friends? Were there times, surely there must have been some times when there was some fear, some concern.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dangerous stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't really remember too much.
You did what you had to do, though.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You did what you had to do.
Yeah.
Tell me about that time where the people were jumping off of the ship. Didn't you say a plane flew into a ship, or did they drop a bomb on a ship?
Dropped a bomb on.
Oh, so it exploded.
Yeah.
And then people were jumping off of the ship into the water. I guess it was on fire.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they were.
Did you jump off?
No, I didn't jump off because I was on the Baltimore.
The incidents where these bombs hit, it's pretty serious stuff. And I've talked to some sailors who were on, for example, one who was on the Princeton. It was a light carrier,
Yeah.
and it was bombed, and the Americans actually torpedoed it afterwards so that it could not become captive of or captured by the actual Japanese. But how about any really interesting people, Willie, that you met while you were in the Navy? Any unusual folk? I mean, hey, everybody's unusual, but any people that left a lasting impression on you?
Well, there's one guy, James Lewis, And we went to Tijuana, Mexico. And we started drinking rum and coke. And finally, we had a depth charge, so to call it. And well, I was totally drunk. And he brought me on board, back on board the ship. He was a pretty good guy.
Every once in a while, we need somebody to kind of help take care of us, don't we?
Right.
Absolutely.
They took the main gangplank down off, and that when we were fixing to take off, the ship was to take off. So I came aboard. I had to go to the sick bay.
Yeah.
So did you have any rough seas out there that you remember? Did it toss that ship around? Did you ever get seasick?
No.
No.
No. The only time I was seasick was on the going out of Norfolk.
Uh-huh. Well, where you did you ever see any USO shows or anything like that?
Yeah, it was right in. I forget where it was at. It's, probably in Norfolk.
Uh-huh. You don't by any chance remember any of the people that were involved in the USO shows?
No, I don't.
Uh-huh. Rusty, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, what was your favorite meal that they would cook for you while you was on the ship? Do you remember what you liked to eat?
Well,
Did they feed you good?
yeah, they fed me good.
Becca, do you have any questions that you think you would like to ask your pop?
No, probably not.
Does he have any brothers or sisters, or is he
He's the last one living.
last one
Yeah,
living?
He had 3 brothers, but no sisters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to sign for him to go into service.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And evidently he got in with the Red Cross or something, because he was 17 when he joined, and I guess had to be 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's when he makes his mind up he's going to do something, he's still that way.
yeah, because he was welding in Wilmington, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a welding job down there, and I know they had blackouts down there because they wouldn't let any lights on the beach. But they said one time a sub had came up the Cape Fear River. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how deep that water can get coming up the Cape Fear River.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were building ships down there in Wilmington pretty fast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had told me he fell asleep. They called him. That's what made him move on.
Worked in the Newport News shipyard too, afterwards.
After you joined the service.
Mm.
Gotcha.
So after you came out?
After I got out.
Oh,
Okay.
after you got out.
Uh-huh. And tell me then a little bit more about, Willie, what you did after you came back from the military. Also, I'd like to know, is there anything particularly that you feel you learned from the military that was very important to you in your life as you have moved over these years? What did the military... For me, the military was very, very important because I learned a lot of discipline. I was not a very disciplined guy when I went in the military. I was a lot more disciplined when I came out. Mm-hmm. So it actually helped me in my life.
Oh,
what about you?
Yeah, same.
Uh-huh.
I worked at Hoser Mill, and I got a chance to have a job at Lord.
Lord?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I
how
worked-
long did you work
I
there?
worked there 28 years.
Okay.
Retired when I was 62.
So what have you done since your retirement? I bet you've worked. I said, what have you done since you retired at 62? I bet you've also done quite a few things in the way of work.
Yeah. Well, I was in a wreck and broke this hip.
Okay.
2011.
2011. Uh-huh.
Yeah, him and his wife did a lot of traveling. Or, well, she's my stepmama. Her mama died when,
Okay.
and then he remarried. And they done a lot of traveling and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Going to Navy reunions and stuff like that. They got real involved in that.
In the military. As a matter of fact, I understand that you've been pretty much involved with your military kind of almost coffee groups since, did I hear that you were back even in the days of Andrew's Drugstore in Burlington?
Right.
And had a group not too long after the war there, the old Andrew's Drugstore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's, do you remember by any chance who any of those people were in that group? I mean, that's a long time ago. I don't know if you remember that or not.
No, I can't.
That gets a pretty far piece back. Rusty, is anything else you want to ask me?
No. I think the only other question I would like to know about is do you have any memories of being out in the South Pacific on the ship? I know you told me that you had shot what kind of gun did you shoot, or did you load?
40 millimeter.
40 millimeter. And they're, how big were those? About that big? And they would, how many would go in a casing?
5.
5. So you kept pushing those in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and who actually shot the gun? You?
No.
So,
There was 4 in the quad.
oh, okay. And all you're doing is just keeping it.
Yeah. And one time I dropped a clip point blank down on the deck of the ship. And they made me pick it up and throw it overboard.
Oh, wow.
They might explode.
Yes, I see that. Right.
Yeah. Now, did you wear any hearing protection when that thing went off? Was it real loud? For your ears?
No.
You didn't have no hearing protection, no?
Well, you're fortunate
That thing had to be loud if he's shooting a shell that big and shooting 5 of them. I guess they were shooting at planes and try to
Yeah.
knock down planes.
One time we shot down one of our own planes. He was following us, the outplane in too close.